rod, reel, let's go. Well, hello. Welcome back to the channel. It's midweek. It's, what day is it? Thursday. I've lost track of the days. It's been one of those weeks. And the tide is very, very small. I'll tell you exactly what it is in a minute, but it's over a 2 metre ebb, if that makes sense. And that light has just gone off. That's frustrating. So I might just have to do this by headlight. But yeah, we've got a very small tide. Was supposed to have a little bit of a southerly building. 2 seconds, let's just see if I can get that light back on. No, something not right with it. Oh well, we'll have to just improvise. So hopefully you can see that okay. Sorry, I'm shining the light in your face there, but yeah, we've got a 2 metre tide. We've got a bit of a, well, what was supposed to be a bit of a building southerly, although sadly it hasn't really come to anything. So I've been humming and hawing all day, and in the end decided to have a trip down memory lane and come up to Lynemouth beach, because it's been many years since I've fished up here, and I've had some good sessions, as I'm sure just about every seasoned northeast angler will have. It can be very prolific in the right conditions, and sometimes, to be honest, I can't even fish when it's quite flat, and it's pretty flat. I've been looking at the webcam all day, and unfortunately it just hasn't really amounted to anything. I was hoping it was saying on the forecast up to 3-4 foot, but it's definitely nowhere near that. So we'll just have to make do, see what we can get away with. So I've got my T800, I've got my favourite Aerotechnium XSC. That's 14,000 XSC. Really nice bit of kit. A lot of people do like the older ones, the XSB. They are nice bit of kit as well. Got a bit of a cult following now, to be fair, but when I got into the Aerotechniums, the XSB was out of production, and they're like hen's teeth to get hold of now. So I did buy the XSD, also a nice bit of kit, but for some reason I prefer the XSC. It's just slightly smaller. Anyway, not bore you. I'm going to probably alternate between loop rigs and pulley pennels. I've got size, I think they're probably 1.20 on these. Fairly short snoods, maybe 12 to 14 inches, something like that. I've got some nice blacks from AD Tackle. I've also got some carp, squid and crab. So I'm just going to vary my tactics, alternate distance, change around, and just basically see what we can do. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm finally going to fulfill a promise. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Well, let me tell you. Short while ago, probably, and I'm saying a short while ago to make it sound like I'm not as unreliable, Kevin, or Audrey as he's also known, you'll know what that means, is probably also thinking, it's only taken you 2 months. What I'm talking about is, I met Kevin, who's a subscriber and watcher of the channel, so thanks again, Kevin, appreciate that. Met him on a charter boat. He was helping out the skipper out of I think it was Glad Tidings on out of Sea Houses. This is back in August, and I showed him a knot and he said, oh, I quite like that, you'll have to put that on the channel. So now hopefully you can see it. A lot of people know this knot, but Kevin, after all this time, this one's for you, mate. So it is the Palomar knot. All it is, I use this for tying any component to braid, principally your end link for changing your rigs. It's very, very simple and very, very strong and effective. Take your braid, double it over, make a loop, put that loop through the end of your link. Hopefully you're getting this. Just tie simple overhand knot, just pull that down, not too tight. Take the loop, put that over your link, like so, and just pull your main line over your tag end. And what you'll find is, you've then got that knot doubled up. Hopefully you can see that. GoPros are not the best. I will try and get some better footage, but it's as simple as that. Cut your tag end off and I promise you that will not give you any problems. If you try a uni knot with braid onto metal, personally I find under enough tension it can slip. That's just my experience. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I always prefer the Palomar knot. So Kevin, after all this time, that one's for you, mate. Enjoy. So as I say, I'm using a pulley rig. This is a 5-ounce gripper. I'm going to see if I can get away with 5. It's small tide, so I don't expect there'll be too much pull. That is onto a 60-pound rig body, a link clip, crimp, bead, swivel bead, crimp, and this is one of the 2 key components of the rig. It is the cascade swivel, and that's just a 1020 Aberdeen long shank. Ideally with these rigs, if you can, you want to try and tie that hook to the bottom of that cascade swivel as short as you possibly can, and then that cascade will double up as a bait stop, which is obviously you do need them because it's a clip down rig, so when you cast, your baits are going to want to be pushed away from the hook. Come up the rig, and the next key part, crimp, SRT spring, which is what gives you that tension. And I've just realised actually I'm probably going to need an impact lead for this because I haven't got a clip. We'll sort that in a second. That gives you a tension and clips everything down. Word of warning when you're using crimps, don't go too crazy when you're squeezing the line, because you think that 60-pound mono, you squeeze that too hard and you've straight away turned it into 30. If you're power casting, bang, it'll snap. You're in a world of trouble and it's very unsafe. So there's just nip your crimps as long as your rig's in place. If it moves, it doesn't matter, you can just push it back. So just a little word of warning on that. Right, let's get some bait on, get this in the water. Right, been in about half an hour now. My mate Will's joined us. We haven't fished here together for probably 10 years, I would say. He's using a Century Tip Tornado match, 13-foot, 4 to 6 ounce, and that's teamed up with a Shimano Power Aero. I think that's got about 50 or 60 pound braid straight through. So we're just varying the tactics, distances, baits, and hopefully pulling something in. But we've got about another hour and 3/4 till high water. Will's got a plain sinker on. Is a little bit of pull from right to left, so we'll just see how that goes. Might need to put a gripper on, but first cast, haven't had anything, so I'm going to get this in, get that pulley pennel with some squid and carp on, and send it back out. Just had the first inquiry of the night just after I said I was going to wind that in. Didn't look like a bad knock, actually. Let's give it a second and then hopefully pull it in. Using braid, especially with a glass tip rod, you can tell if there's something there, so something might have just had a go at it, but it's a good sign. Right, nothing on that first cast, although it has come back with virtually bare hooks, so definitely something out there. So I'm going to put this fairly small compact pulley rig on. Where's the end of that clip? That's got the Trident pulley, 60-pound hook length, 80-pound rig body, 195-pound power swivel, couple of beads either side the figure of 8, imp, 5-ounce sinker, and I've got a 1/0 circle on the top and just a small Cox and roll. I think that's probably about a size 2 on the bottom. So we've got some black lug, wings and squid. I'm going to belt that at distance, see if there's anything there. So fingers crossed. Right, it's 2 casts I've had. 1 bite in the first one. Absolutely nothing on that. So what I'm going to do, stick this loop rig on. I've got, what have I got? Worm on the top hook and half a crab on the bottom, and I'm just going to plonk it maybe 30-40 yards. There is a bit of pull from right to left. Annoyingly, I didn't bring any impact sinkers for my loop rigs. I've found a sinker that I actually found in a rock pool that's got a sort of built-in clip which is doing the trick. It's only got 2 grippers on it there, but it's doing the job. But I'm just going to chuck it to the right a bit, sort of slightly up tide, as I say, just into the waves, and just see if anything's coming like closer in into the kind of gut where the gradient meets the flatter sand a little bit further out. So far not looking too good. We've pretty much agreed that the objective is just not to blank. So far it looks like that's going to happen, but we'll see. Right, well, we haven't blanked because there is one very small but very welcome codlin. Hopefully there's a bigger one out there. Well, we are 2 hours into it now. We're just about approaching high water. We're just saying before there, we've noticed that most people are further down the beach towards the bottom. I know that there is, I think it's called Hospital Hole down there. Don't know if they know something that we don't, quite possibly, but we're getting a few rattles and stuff, just not really connecting with anything other than Will's codlin, which is saved the blank. But I think the next target is to try and get something that's size. But we'll keep going. It's a nice evening to be out. There's a reasonable bit of sea out then because it's quite deep. It's not breaking until it's virtually hitting the shore, but I dare say, to be honest, we could probably do with fishing it when there's a bit more sea on and on a better tide, because it's a very, very small tide, and it's the second smallest of the cycle, so it's never any great shakes when the tide's that small, but we'll keep going. Well, that is the end of the session. To see if anything has actually flattened off, we've decided to just call it. A few bites. Had that one tiny codlin before to save the blank, but it hasn't to be, it wasn't to be, but it's been nice just being out here, to be honest. It's always good just to get a session midweek, I find anyway. Fishing on the slackest of tides, not the best conditions. I did think that southerly was going to build the sea a bit more today, but it just hasn't happened. But anyway, it's been nice to be out. Hope you've enjoyed it. There's got to be a decent session around the corner somewhere. There's got to be. We'll try and get out when the conditions are actually decent and the tides are good. But until then, hopefully you've been out and about catching a few and doing whatever it is you enjoy doing. So as always, thanks very much for watching. Tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you on the next one.